Okay, everyone, this is Trents Outlet. The title was Tummi and the Dragon, narrated by William Woodson. Thanks, everybody.
This is the story of Tummi and the Dragon. You can read along with me in your book. You will know it is time to turn the page when you hear the chimes ring, like this. Let's begin now. Under the forest floor of Gummy Glen lie miles and miles of unexplored gummy tunnels. So one day, Tummi and Zummy decided to have a little look around. As they cautiously walked through the dark hallways, Zummy held up a lantern.
Just think, Tummi. No gummy bear has been down this tunnel in 100 years.
Tummi tugged at a stuck door.
I hope we find a kitchen.
The door suddenly gave way, and the two bears fell through. They tumbled into a large cavern-like room. Tummi sat up in front of a tall machine that had a coiled spring and a big metal foot.
Wow, what's this?
Zummy read a dusty sign on the contraption.
Look, this was built by the great gummies themselves. Tummi, where'd you go, Tummi?
Zummy looked up to see Tummi in the driver's seat of the machine, playing with the buttons and levers.
Great gummy berries. Don't fool with it, Tummi.
Oh, this is so old it probably doesn't even work. See? Nothing happens.
The contraption shot high into the air. The machine started back toward the ground, and the big metal foot almost crashed down on Zummy. Then it sprang back into the air.
Switch it off, Tummi.
I can't. Help!
Each time it landed, the machine bounced higher and higher. Finally, it crashed up through the ceiling and into the forest above. Zummy swigged his gummy-berry juice and bounced after his friend.
But don't worry, Tummi. I'll save you.
The machine hopped crazily through Gummy Glen, leaving large footprints with each earth-shaking bounce. Zummy finally caught up and bounded alongside. He pulled and tugged on the door, but it was jammed. Between bounces, poor Tummi called out to him.
I'm not having a good time.
Hang on, Tummi. I'm gonna help. Get help.
Below, in the gummy kitchen, Granny was tasting a bowl of porridge. Suddenly the ground shook and the porridge splashed all over her face. Down the hall, Gruffy was relaxing in a warm bath. He and the bathwater shot out of the tub, then slopped back down. The gummies rushed outside where they were met by Zummy.
Quick! Tummi's trapped in an old gummy machine that's shaking the forest.
Gruffy scowled.
Aha! He's been playing with things he shouldn't. Well, what are we all standing around for? Let's go rescue him!
Meanwhile, Tummi yanked frantically at the levers.
Maybe this will shut it off.
The machine only bounced higher and faster. It bounded through a farmyard, careened through a canyon, and hopped through a swamp. Soon covered with mud and branches, it began to look like a terrible beast. Deep in the woods, Sir Tuxford and his squire, Unwin, were awakened by the sound of stomping and yelling.
What's going on out there?
Before Tuxford could find out, the machine crashed down into their tent. It snagged a rope, lifted the whole tent to the top of a tree, and left it dangling in the branch. Sir Tuxford struggled to get out of the hanging tent.
Who dares challenge the right arm of King Gregor? Come back, villain!
When he finally poked his head out, he caught a glimpse of the mud-covered machine hopping off into the woods.
It's a dragon!
Suddenly, the branch snapped and the tent crashed to the ground. The frightened knight and his squire raced back to Dunwin Castle. Tuxford dashed into the castle, still in his long underwear.
Help! There's a dragon in the woods!
Unwin, wrapped in what was left of the tent, nodded in agreement. King Gregor stepped into the courtyard.
Is this one of your tall tales, Sir Tuxford? There hasn't been a dragon in Dunwyn for ages.
But it's true, your majesty. Fierce and enormous he was, on my honor as a knight.
Tuxford pulled the tent from Unwin and held it up for the king to see.
If you don't believe me, just look at this. A giant footprint.
Gregor motioned to his knights.
This calls for action, men.
Tuxford pointed to the forest.
Hello, knights. We must sally forth to slay yon dragon. This very day we shall lay the beast at the king's feet.
Back in the forest, Tummi's machine skidded down a hillside and bounced past a cave. Deep inside, a pair of glowing yellow eyes narrowed. Steam hissed from the corners of a gigantic mouth. Tummi had awakened a real dragon. But as the beast stepped into the daylight, it didn't look beastly at all. It was a friendly lady dragon.
Ooh, a rather empty day.
Just then, she spotted the machine's footprints. Daintily, she placed her foot over the print.
Oh my, it matches! This is wonderful! It's another dragon as humongous, just like me!
She dashed off into the woods, all aflutter.
I'll just follow these tracks. Gracious, a friend after all this time. No more lonely days.
In another part of the forest, Granny heard the contraption.
There's Tummi now! Quick, up this hill!
But when they reached the top, there was no Tummi, just a steep ledge. Zummi almost fell over.
Oh, my spectacles. That was close. Just let me rest for a second in the shade of this dragon. Dragon!
The gummies looked up, and there she was. The lady dragon gazed down at the frightened bears.
Oh, my scaly goodness! Why, I haven't seen a gummy in 400 years! Where does the time go?
Zummi peeked out from behind a rock.
You know who we are?
Oh, my heavens, yes! This forest used to be filled with gummies. We were such good friends.
Suddenly, Tummi's runaway machine bounded up the hill. It smacked into an apple tree, sputtered once, then finally flopped over. Tummi rolled out and lay there moaning with his eyes closed. Grammy hurried over to where he was lying.
Tummi, are you all right? Say something.
Got any food?
Gruffy shook his head in disgust.
He's fully recovered.
The dragon handed Tummi a juicy apple.
Here, take a bite. You had a nasty shake, dear boy.
Tummi opened his eyes and peered into the dragon's huge face.
My, Grammy, what big eyes you have. Wait, you're not Grammy. Yeah, a dragon.
Don't let that bother you. I'm the most peaceful dragon in the world.
Gruffy stomped over to the fallen machine.
What is this thing?
Tummi got up and kicked it.
It's a big thumping pain, that's what it is.
The lady dragon began hopping around on one foot.
It's called a dragon decoy. Your ancestors used it to make dragon footprints and scare off intruders. Very clever.
Laughing, the lady dragon compared her foot with the machine's metal one.
I just remembered. I modeled for that foot. Good heavens, I've been chasing myself around the forest.
Then suddenly, she grew sad.
That means there never was another dragon. Now I suppose I'll never find a friend.
From over the hill came the voice of Sir Tuxford.
We're close now, men. The dragon is within our grasp.
Granny turned to the others.
We've got to help this lady.
Gruffy paced in front of the dragon.
Can't you fly or breathe fire or something?
Dear me, no. I'm a peaceful dragon.
Tummi squared his shoulders.
Well, if they want a dragon, I'll give them one. Even if it means getting back into that awful machine.
And with the dragon's help, he did just that. Tummi climbed into the driver's seat and pulled the lever. Off he went, down the slope and over the heads of the startled lights. Tuxford called out,
Master it, men! Don't let the beast get away!
The contraption bounced to the edge of a high, steep cliff, then jumped off. Down and down it fell. The knights peeked over the edge. All at once, the machine rocketed back up in their faces.
Tuxford had a plan. All right, men. We'll push this boulder over the edge and squash the beast. Heave! Oh!
The boulder followed the machine down the cliff. Just before it struck, Tummi leaped unseen from the driver's seat.
Wow, that was close.
Thinking they had destroyed a real dragon, the knights proudly carried the metal foot back to King Greco. Safe at last, the lady dragon invited the gummies to her cave for tea and biscuits.
Oh, goodness, that was more fun than I've had in 100 years. I'm so glad I have you for friends. And Tummi, thank you for the wonderful rescue.
Tummi blushed.
Oh, it was nothing. That's just 'cause we heroes are brave. Brave and noble. Brave, noble, and handsome. Brave, noble, handsome, and hungry. Pass the biscuits, please.
That was the end of the story. If you would like to hear it again, turn the tape over.
This is Trents Outlet sign out. Thanks for coming. Please subscribe and will come in the near future.